Welcome to Beyond the Box.
Our guests are insiders that are now out and on our side, dropping nuclear intel and breaking it down just for you.
And now it's time to introduce our hosts, Brenda Lankridge and Suzanne Haunt. Join us and subscribe for weekly shows. Beyond the Box begins now. Let's jump in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Box. Tonight I'm a little sick. So Susie and Tommy are going to be basically doing most of the talking. Obviously. How are you, Susie?
I'm good. I know you're all stopped up, and like I said, my son is all running nose today from Cedar, so it's high Cedar Day, I guess.
I don't know. It's something. So
right.
Go ahead and start us off in our prayer.
Okay. All right. We just ask the Father in Jesus' name to first off, kind of like help give Brenda her voice back a little bit, even if she has allergies. We want to get her voice back, and maybe like push the allergies stuff away from her and don't let it come to her. And we just pray for all our guests, and we pray for all our watchers that watch the show, and we just ask God to reveal some stuff to us tonight. We hope we learn something really interesting and new, and it sounds like it's going to be a fun show. So in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Yes, tonight we have Abe Sias with us. He runs the Spiritual and Cryptid Encounters podcast. He's on a lot of groups, and I'm sure that he's had his own experiences. So let's go ahead and bring out Andy and Tommy and Abe, and we'll get started. So I can shut up.
Poor thing.
Hey,
Andy.
There's Abe.
Ed.
Tommy go. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Tommy.
Hello.
So, Abe, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yes. How y'all doing tonight? My name is Abe Sias. I got my group called Spiritual and Cryptid Encounters. I'm originally from South Texas, which is in the Rio Grande Valley. I joined the military. Was in the military for 10 years, from 89 to 99. In Germany was my first duty station, which was 125 Armor. Then I got stationed in the Cav, which I got stuck in Fort Hood for about around 8 years in Fort Hood.
Wow.
I'm happily married now. Have one son. He is 23 years old. And yes, I've seen a lot of things within the spiritual realm all my life. So I have so many stories and experiences that I can share with y'all. Maybe, I believe
Nice.
we can help out one another by sharing our experiences.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't know about the rest of them, but I have a lot in the spiritual world because I'm an empath and a medium, and but I won't be saying much. So, Tommy and Susie, take off.
How we doing? So, what part of South Texas are you from? I used to do some business down in Laredo and El Paso.
Oh no, I'm from a small town called Raymondville, Texas, which is near Harlingen and Brownsville area, down in the South Texas,
Okay, yeah,
South Texas, near Brownsville, Harlingen, and all that area, in the lower region, which is the border there is the Matamoros border, Matamoros, Las Flores, which
Right.
is near South Padre Island.
Yeah, we went to
Right.
spring break there one year. Had a good
Yes,
time. We went into Metamoris and beautiful,
settled down.
really cool. It's my first.
That's where I grew up.
So
So yeah, I got to go to all the spring breaks when I was a youngster. The beach
I grew
would
up in
be just
College
filled
Township.
with
So
nothing but spring breakers. Yes.
yeah, that must have been fun. I know we had a
Oh
good time down
yeah,
there.
but it is hot down there because you're close to the equator.
Right.
So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So a lot of people that will go to the beach was because to cool down, because very humid, very hot. There is a lot of wildlife down there. I mean, there's a lot of mesquite, a lot of land where there's all kinds of different kind of animals down there. A lot of hunting spots. A lot of people go down there for the hunt.
Are you a hunter?
Oh, not really. I mean, I like to fish, so I was more of a fisherman. I used to go to this was called Port Mansfield. So I used to go fishing there every weekend when I was growing up. Of course, you run into things out there as you go into towards the Gulf. There's javelinas. They're running the way, the deer, and you know, just uh, different kinds of exotic birds that migrate that you always run into. You're like, whoa, what is that? Which you don't know what it is because you've never seen it before. But yeah, there's a lot of areas over there that I believe haven't been how should I say explored. So there could be things out there that only people of that area know what's out there. If somebody resides out there, but yeah, I've seen a lot of strange things. One of the strangest things that I witnessed, I don't know if y'all ever heard of this. It's happened in 1975 when there was a big bird being spotted, or people were calling it the Thunderbird or the Big Bird back in 1975. I remember
Huh.
uh, that I experienced something like that, witnessed something. I even got a scratch uh, where I got scratched when I was a kid. I was 5 years old. Something tried to take me out the window. Uh, the window we
What?
had was big. The screen windows back then they were like pretty strong, like wire. So something literally made the screen collapse, and I got hit in the face, and I flew back. My my mother turned on the light, and I was bleeding from my face. They were like trying to figure out what happened, but yeah, I had a strange event that happened to me. But was even stranger. Well, I can say the story, but I don't want to go off topic.
Yeah. Tell us.
Yeah,
Tell us. Yeah.
yeah, that's perfect.
Well, it was it was there was a hurricane that was coming in, so already low near the ocean level. So we was trying to move up to higher ground because in our city would normally flood. So we had some friends that live out on the ranch in between Hargill and San Manuel. So we were going up there to get away from the hurricane, to go stay at their ranch. Um, so it was one evening. It was raining real hard already. The hurricane was coming, and there's this location there that is called the something Sal. It's kind of like a historical marker, whereas there's like a lake, but it's kind of like salt everywhere. It's a historical marker. And that historical marker is there was a what do you call it? A rest area, and by the rest area, there's a dirt road. That dirt road is the road that will lead to our friend's house, live in the ranch. So we're driving down this road. Uh, we had a green station wagon. You can remember the '70s. It was a green Ford, one of those off green, those nasty color Fords. We was driving down that
Avocado.
dirt road, and there was a lagoon. or swamp where the water was crossing over because it was raining pretty hard and the water had already was crossing over the dirt road, and we seen a big fish in the middle of the road. So I got all excited, and like I said, I used to like fishing. So I got off the vehicle, I ran towards the fish and I grabbed the fish so it wouldn't jump to the other side of the swamp, right, or lagoon, or I'll say swamp. And I grabbed the fish, and my father came and is like, "Oh, that's a big one. We're gonna have a fish fry." Next thing you know, as we're standing there over it, we heard something made this loud screeching sound. So when I looked to the left, there was like a tree stump sticking out of the swamp. On top of that, there was something sitting there. You know, you could see its talons. It was this creature, you know, I'll just say it like that, where it
It
was
wasn't
like
like an eagle, or I mean, something like that, or did it look different, or what color was it?
it was midnight black, the pitch black. The
Oh,
the wings were like leathery, like a bat. The face looked
what?
like the shape of a human. It had red eyes. He had
What?
sharp teeth, and he had
Oh
sharp
yeah, that
talons.
don't sound like a buzzard. That don't sound like an
Yeah,
eagle.
yeah.
You
So,
know.
About how
uh,
tall was it? You think?
say 75, I was 6 years old, right? I was born in 69. So I'm looking at it and it's looking at me, and I got the fish in my hand. And,
Oh,
I could recognize how eagle looks, but this was very tall, was very big, bigger than a human. I would say, shoot,
wow.
I would say like most like 7 foot. But the way it was on the stump, I could only it was screeching. You could open his mouth. It looked like a human, but not. It was all the texture of the wings and the
Kind of
face was
reminds
all
me
the
of like
same,
some kind
like
of
a midnight black.
gargoyle, like
Yeah,
some,
like a
right?
gargoyle, I would say, right? And
Yeah.
it's making this screeching sound. So I my dad, as it's making the screeching sound, we're looking at it. He goes straight up in the air, like it didn't even flap its wings or nothing. It just like he had like
Oh
some
no.
super. How should I say?
Sprung up.
It could fly very fast, like supersonic. Just took up into the
Oh
sky. So
no.
we went in a station wagon, got in the station wagon, and we still had to travel like half a mile up the road. So we were traveling, and I guess it came from behind us, and it clawed the top of the station wagon. The
What?
station wagons back then were like steel, right? So you just hear, and then we're like looking. My mom's praying because we don't know what it is.
Oh my God.
We don't know what it is. And next thing you know, it comes flies beside the station wagon, and it's looking at us, and he starts banging, using his body and just banging the station wagon real hard that my dad is losing control
That's
because
like something out of a horror flick or something you
the
were
dirt road is wet.
experiencing.
The dirt road is wet, and we're
Reminds me of
sliding because of the mud. So it's trying to hit us off the road, and it goes like that for a good distance till we finally made it into to the ranch. We
Wow.
got to the ranch, and we're all freaked out. And the,
Yeah.
the the people that live in this ranch, their name was Chuy and Matilde. Jesse, I guess, but we call him Chuy. And we're telling him what happened and all this, and he just looks at us and he says, "I figured by all the times that you you've come and visit us that you might have already run into that." And he starts
What?
laughing. And it's like we're like trying to figure out what he's trying to say. I said, "Well," so that's the local demon of the area. That's what he said. I said, "What do you mean the local?" My parents were talking to him. So what do you mean it's a local demon of the area? So yes, he said that there was an old lady that lived near that swamp area, and that she was a witch. That before she passed away, that she summoned this demon, and when she
Oh.
died, that's what remained. That's what they said, right? So we were freaked out, and we stayed there for the whole weekend because of the hurricane. I mean, we had the hurricane to worry about, and then we had this freaking
Did they
whatever
have
it was.
a name for that bird? I mean, did you hear him call it a certain name or what it was besides a demon?
He all he said was the demon of the area. That's all he said. He never said a name for it or nothing. Uh, so we stayed there
Wow.
for the weekend while the hurricane passed through, right? So Sunday it's already afternoon. We're afraid to, we're all scared, that we're gonna bump into this again. So we're driving home, and as we're driving home, uh, imagine it floods. So there's water everywhere. There's areas where it's flooded from the hurricane, and to our left there was nothing but fields that were like full of water. So we're driving. As we're driving home, I could see it flying from tree to tree, like it's following us. And I would tell my parents, "Hey, it's following
Oh
us. I
no.
see it coming. It's on the left side." So it followed us all the way to town. You know. So my
Wow.
parents are telling me, "No, you're traumatized. You're scared because of what happened. It's just in your imagination." So I'm over there like in 3, 4 feet in water. It's our afternoon, the sun is fixing to set, and out of nowhere, I see it come, and it goes into our attic. It breaks the little the breather up on top of the home. It crashes right through it, and
It
it makes a
found
hole.
you at your house? Did it like follow you all the way back?
Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. It followed us.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
so I go tell my dad, "Hey, Dad, it's here," and it's like, "What's here?" I said that the thing, that was over there it's here. It made a hole in the what do you call it? Those breathers that are on top of the house on the to let the hot air out, whatever. Uh, well, it made a hole through that.
Like
So
a
my
vent?
father goes in there,
Yeah.
a vent, and my father seen the vent, and you could see the hole where he broke. The vent is all messed up. It was like a wooden vent, and
Yeah.
he said, "I'm gonna go check it out." So he went up there he put a ladder, and he went up there, and he got a flashlight. He's looking. So I don't see nothing in here. I don't see nothing in here. So he left it at that. He said, "Oh, it's probably a cat that did that." I said, and I'm trying to tell him, "No, he flew and it made that hole." I said, "How is a cat going to do a hole that big?" So he's trying to tell me that it was a cat that did this. So that night is where I slept. I had a bunk bed. And what's weird about this is that night I got woken up by my grandmother calling me. This is like at two in the morning, and my grandmother used to live right beside us. So I hear the voice of my grandmother calling me, and I said, "Grandma, is that you?" And it's dark in my where I'm sleeping. Then I start going towards the window because I hear my name. I'm literally hearing my name being called. And by her voice. So I go closer and closer and closer to the window. And I said, "Is that your grandmother?" And she said, "Yes, it's me, but in Spanish, right?" So yo, rímate un poquito más, get a little bit closer. So when I got like inches away from that screen window, it's when I got hit. It like caved in. I got hit in the face. I flew back. My parents turned on the light. I was bleeding from a face where it scratched me.
Whoa.
Uh, bleeding,
It was imitating
and
your
they were like
voice.
trying to figure out what's going on, and it knocked me out. Like it was trying to take me, I believe, but it hit
Yeah.
me so hard because I was skinny, so I flew back, but I was bleeding from the face. It tried to take me out that window, and the windows, you know, from our house were real big. There were like 6 foot windows. We had a lot of windows that were big around the house.
What town were you in when at your home?
Raymondville, Texas.
What town?
Raymondville, Raymondville, Texas. That's
Raymaville?
where they. Yes, ma'am. So right after that, my parents, I went to school with a piece of white T-shirt wrapped around my head the following day to school. I had to go back to school on Monday, right? So my parents told me, if they tell you what happened, tell them that a cat scratched you. When I know it was no
Oh
cat that
my
scratched me,
God.
you know. So I'm in school, and the teachers want to see what's going on with me, and they look at the scratches that I had. They're like, "That's no cat," right? So right after that, all these people start getting attacked in our town. They're getting attacked by this. because this is attacking them at nighttime. So you hear stories where a
What?
guy got scratched in the back. Uh, a girl was riding a horse and it came and tried to take her off her horse. So all these things were happening in which not just in our town, but other towns. This they call it the big bird, the pájaro, was being spotted, but what I witnessed was no bird. You know, so
Yeah.
my parents were, or I was taught if we tell you to say something, you say that we're not supposed to speak without us knowing what. So, we if I said anything to anybody of what happened to me, then there'll be a heart, how do you call it? Heart love, a discipline for trying to be a grown up, by trying to say what happened to me.
Abe,
But yeah, many
can
people
I,
got attacked by it, and they call it the pájaro, the big bird. Uh, it did a lot of damage. It was killing animals. Cows were being found on top of poles. Uh,
no, Abe,
just a lot of strange
is
events
it,
happened. There's this big bird, that well they call it the big bird, but that's not what I witnessed. I
Now,
believe what Chewie said
What color was
was true. It was more of a demon
yeah.
or gargoyle.
Do you know if they ever like if this thing ever got killed or did it disappear or is it still out there?
I believe that it's still in the attic. I
It's
went
still
there.
there.
I believe it's in the attic of our home. The reason I say this is I got a call from my aunt because my dad, he's not living there no more. But at the time he was living at the house, this is like 6 years ago. They told me that he was a hoarder, that we could go clean up the house because he had a mess. He's got one leg because he got amputated from the other because of diabetes. So me and my brother went over there and we're cleaning. I mean, it was just full of stuff. So we're throwing stuff out and cleaning out. So we clean all the rooms and the last room, which was to where it broke. We went in there and some of that sheetrock was falling off from the roof, right? That goes into the attic. I was moving a mattress in there. When I was moving the mattress in it, I seen it. I seen the silhouette, how the head looked, and I seen this. I guess since it was daytime, the eyes that were looking at me were yellowish, looking at me, and then when I seen it, it looked at me. It moved to the side. So I'm thinking it might still be there, and
Wow.
living, living in the house.
now, Abe,
But
can that, can that,
yes,
how different is that from a Wendigo, a Mothman, Chupacabra? I mean, does it resemble any of those?
no, this doesn't
No, this is
resemble
more like it's got
the
leathery, fat like wings, right?
the wings and the texture of the head and everything was the same. The only thing that stood out the most from the midnight black would be the teeth, the claws, and the eyes. The teeth and the claws look white, but the eyes look red, like like dark red. Like you could see him, his red eyes looking at you. And then when he opened his mouth, it shows all his sharp teeth. It was in a bird.
what
It had
kind
sharp
of
teeth.
what, what was he wearing that was white? Was it like a the clothes were white.
No, this was just the only thing you could
Black.
see was the texture of the where the head, the neck, the body, the wings, the hand. I guess the wherever the hands were was all black. The only thing that I could see stand out was the claws, the I guess the talons and the teeth and the eyes, but everything else was midnight black. So you could say it's like a predator because it could blend in the darkness and come at you without you even knowing that it's there. Just like it attacked the station wagon, came out. You see the sky is black and it's blending in with the darkness, and he just comes and did what he did. Scratch the top of our station wagon. So about 2 weeks later, after that, uh, we went back. when all these people were being attacked, I still had to I couldn't say nothing because if my parents would find out, then, I'll probably get disciplined. So we went back to the ranch to find out what the hell was going on because he went and started causing havoc in our town. So when we went back to the ranch, we found Chewy, which is named, I guess, for Jesse. He
Uh,
was laid out in his bed,
did it look something like this?
No,
Okay.
the head kind of looked like the head of a I'm not going to say of a person, but the shape of a person, right? Like the shape, like the way we have our head, like the shape of that, but it's all black with red
Okay.
eyes and the sharp teeth.
Here's
Um,
another.
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
uh, it, all of those had the red eyes and the sharp teeth and the way it opened his mouth. Uh, it was just no. I would have to
Sounds
draw
terrifying.
a picture of it.
Okay.
I drew a picture of it, but
These are on that, that church in France, the has all the gargoyles on it. Those are some of the statues that are on that building.
yeah, I've seen other things like gargoyles before, but this was very aggressive. So when we went back 2 weeks later to find out afterward the town our town was being attacked and this thing was being spotted all throughout the Rio Grande Valley. Uh, we went back to the ranch and we found Chewy laying in bed. Then we're trying to figure out what's happening to him. He had scratches on his back, uh, and he's saying that he was hunting uh, deer with his son, and that I guess demon came and picked him up from the shoulders and started flying away with him. And that his son, who he was like around my age, 6 or 7, he grabbed the rifle and shot at it. When he shot at it, he dropped Chewy on the ground, but Chewy was all scratched up. So
Here's another one.
no,
Okay.
yeah, I couldn't see no ears, just the shape of the head, the way it looked, and
Okay.
the right eyes and the teeth. It wasn't like too big. It was very long, uh, not too muscular. I guess so it can be agile in the sky, but it moved pretty fast. I would have to
Yeah.
draw a picture to.
Yeah. I'd love to see a picture of it sometime. Yeah.
So he had gotten attacked by it. He went. It picked him up like 2 weeks later. Went over there and attacked him. So he had stitches on his back, and where he clawed him. Luckily, his
Wow.
son shot at it, and he dropped him. He let him go. He didn't say that I mean, if it's something that's not from this world, whether it's, there's another thing that was being spotted around the same time frame. That's this hurricane that maybe it might have a connection. Uh, UFOs were being spotted in that area. Also, we had UFO activity. There was goats being found or animals being found with no blood. So we don't know
Like
if we
vampiric.
haven't,
eh, Yeah.
if
That's our,
yeah,
the chupacabra is the goat sucker.
yeah. It's in the if you
I've
Google it,
seen a
the
chupacabra.
story of
Yeah.
the pájaro, the big bird, it'll show up when it happened and everything.
Oh,
Yeah, but I have the scars. The scars that I have. I never got stitches because I was
Wow.
young, so they heal by themselves. But now that I'm getting older, you're able to see them more. You see my hairline here? Look at this hairline. Well, my
Wow.
hair, when it scratched me, it messed up my hair. It messed up my hair from growing in a certain section. So,
Wow.
and the
That's
marking
crazy.
goes, the claw
what was
marks
that?
goes all the way to my eyes up here. Just you can see it right now. I will have to send y'all a picture. I got a picture on my phone where,
Okay.
yeah,
Like it's crouching down.
like a werewolf with wings.
Yeah,
Kind of like you
just the
were.
face was smaller, like
Okay.
human, like like probably like a skinnier. How should I say?
Gotcha.
Not a
Yeah.
person that's muscular, but somebody that's slim. Like somebody skinny.
Gotcha.
The head,
Like
Yeah.
almost
not
like the
too
Wow.
real
big.
life Jeepers Creepers, like the real
Yep.
life one.
That's
To
what
my
I'm looking
understanding,
at.
I heard that this thing is still spotted down in the Rio Grande Valley. But yeah, look, it took a whole chunk of me that my hair never grew, and that's why my hairline is up like
That
that.
is weird. Yeah. That is so. Is
So
that
yeah,
so? What did that experience like open you up to research these weird creatures and different things like that? And
uh, man, it started the things that I've experienced started way before that when I was 3 years old, actually. Uh,
oh
that I could share where it all started,
yeah,
but that's I'm just sharing one of the
yeah,
experience that if you were to Google it, it'll show. Even in the picture that I have on YouTube where I'm a little kid, you can see where I'm missing a chunk of hair off my, a 6 year old. I should have a full set of hair, and I have a line where it literally scratched my hair off of me, and I guess it messed up my hair that it can't grow there no more.
wow,
Scar,
like
yeah.
it was toxic or something.
Well, the claws were, I guess, sharp. Luckily,
Yeah,
the screen windows at those times were pretty thick. The screen windows, the screens that they would make back in the days, there was more of like
Yeah,
wire.
metal,
And
metal.
I'm thinking if it wouldn't be for those screens, maybe I wouldn't be here right now.
wow,
The screens they have nowadays are more like cloth-like that they
yeah,
have in the new homes. But back in the day in the '70s, the screens were actually
yeah,
Yeah.
like wire screens. And I'm thinking if it wouldn't be for that wire screen window, that it would have been worse
slowed him
for me.
down, huh?
Yeah, it would have got me real good. I think it was going for my eye, trying to take my eye, like trying to
Wow.
claw me. Yeah, or take me, one of the two.
It's weird. You've caught that fish and then it saw you and went after you. That is just weird.
It was
Well,
probably his
one of
dinner.
the things that I was thinking about was, well, maybe he got mad because the fish was his meal. But when I seen it, I knew there was not no bird, no flamingo, no pelican, no eagle, no hawk, no owl. This was none of that. No bats. This was something that was straight out of either a from another dimension, or what people want to call a human, like a cryptid, or humanoid. But
Yeah.
I mean, it just scratched
But
the
it
hell
is
out of
it
her.
sounds like you said, it sounds very demonic, like there's
Yes,
something, another element
the
to
red
it. It's like
eyes.
supernatural.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the red eyes, and it really was yeah, the way it was making those. Yeah, like a smaller head. The wings were wider.
Was the leg thin?
Like the wings were pretty big.
Okay.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
skinny.
I've
Like
got
the
those down.
the body was skinny. Like the way it took off, it's just the
Okay.
wing was just open when it took off and went straight shot up in the air. It didn't
Like a
flap no
rocket.
wings or nothing. Yeah,
Wow.
like it just
Crazy.
flew real fast. It didn't like flap his wings. It just
Did
like
he ever like
glided.
change shape or anything at any time? Did he
Yeah.
change his shape or he all looked the same?
No, no. When it came by the station wagon, it was looking with the red eyes and showing its teeth and hitting us. I mean, it was almost as long as a station wagon itself when it was
Oh
in
my.
full extension. It was almost as long as station wagon,
Whoa.
and
They
it was hitting us hard. You know, boom, boom, trying to run us off the road. Our parents were telling us stay away from the windows, stay away from the windows. Uh, yeah, that's something that I'll never forget.
Now, did you say there were people? Did people end up getting killed in that area that they
Injured,
couldn't
a
explain?
lot.
Just injured
As
or
far as
killed?
injured,
Okay.
scratched by it. I think there's a friend of mine that's well, he's making a movie of it now. But I had talked to him about what I remember, and there's another person that contacted me that said that they remember just like I explained it because they were an FFA. They were riding the horse, right? Because they were getting ready for the. I'm thinking, what do you call it? A rodeo,
Okay.
and that this it came from the sky, and they tried to take her off her horse, and she
Whoa.
got scratched by it too. She's older than me, probably like 6, 7 years older. So she's in her 60s right now, where she got
Wow.
attacked while she was training her horse for the upcoming rodeo. That it
That's
came from the
scary.
sky. There was another guy coming out of his home, and he came and scratched him on the back. Just a lot of stories of it. And like I said, it was being spotted in school. That's how serious it was. In school, they wouldn't let us go out play in the playground. When we
What?
had recess or break, we had to stay in the classroom because that this they call it the big bird was running loose in the Rio Grande Valley.
Oh, that's
So the
crazy.
parents they didn't let us go out there, and they were asking us to draw a picture of it. All the kids, have you seen it? To draw a picture and all this.
Ah,
But yeah, it happened in 1975.
wow. And so you said, what happened to you when you were 3? You were saying.
Oh yes. This is when I was 3 years old. My brother, which is 2 years older than me, he's five. He had very high fevers. I believe it was the times where they had like yellow fever and stuff like that. Some kind of fever was happening where the doctors in the U.S. didn't know what was the matter with him. They couldn't control the fevers. That the fever so he had very high fevers that he was always hallucinating, where he was seeing snakes and spiders. And the doctors from the USA that they couldn't have a cure for him. They didn't know what to do. That he most likely was gonna pass away. So since we're from Hispanics, uh, my aunt knew a medicine woman that lived in Reynosa, which is in Mexico. Uh, that she talked to her and she said that she could heal my brother. For us, I guess, to go, but to that the only way she will help him is if me, after she healed him, that I would have to stay with her for a couple of months. That was a deal. We didn't have
And
that
what,
much
like
money, I
work
guess.
for her or something?
Well, something in that nature. Or yes, just to go be there with her for 3, 4 months when because I was only 3. So I
Oh my
remember going
gosh.
there with my brother. Uh, it was this little hut with a dirt floor, and she see my brother, and she started praying, and she had this egg, and she started doing like this with my brother. My brother would fall so many times that his left elbow was always he would walk like this because it was injured, and his left leg was injured also from falling so many times because, like I said, he was seeing snakes and spiders all the time. He wouldn't want to touch the ground. That's because of the high fevers. So she did this to him, and she was praying, and she cracked his egg, and a little baby black chick came out, and he had like a broken wing and a broken leg. But then after that, my brother, all the hallucinations and all that, the fever stopped. You know. So basically, this medicine woman, which is kind of like we call them curanderas in Spanish. She said that what was the matter with my brother wasn't really a fever. What was the matter with my brother was because, in those times, she said that a witch had placed a hex on him. Bruja. We call them brujas in Spanish, but dark witch. So what she did,
They call you say
she hit
Wuhan for which?
bruja,
How do you
yeah,
say
with a B.
Bruhan?
Bruja,
Bruhan.
Bruja. Uh, so what she did, she I guess prayed for whoever did that to go back to the sender. So all I remember is when they took my brother, my mother left, and I stayed there with a medicine woman. I seen her bring. There's many people that will come to her that were sick, or a lot of them, because there was a lot of I guess brujeria, witchcraft,
Yeah.
where people were getting placed Texas, and they would go to this medicine woman. I guess you could say she's kind of like a white witch,
Yeah.
and she would heal them. She would heal them. So I seen her heal people where they would be laying down this little altar she had, and she'll use her spiritual energy to enter the body to wherever they were feeling pain. There was times that she would pull out like pieces of barbed wire, glass, scorpions, snakes out of the people.
Wow.
Um, at the same time, there was times where a person was real sick, like with cancer or stroke, heart problems, where she will start working in these areas, and you could see these dark shadow figures come out of the people, and they'll be standing.
Wow.
Sometime the most I've seen a
And
person had,
you saw that yourself?
yes,
Wow.
I could see it spiritually. I was 3. So there was one time there was one that had 4 shadow figures that came out of them, or unclean spirits, or you want to call them demons, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were standing. I could see them because of the fire, but there was not a body to cast a shadow. It was just a shadow. So I could see the shadows leaving the hut. So she looked at me,
Wow.
and she would ask me, "Are they gone?" And I would just point where they will leave, and I would go like this. So I could understand everything she was saying to me. I just couldn't talk to her that much. And for being 3 years old, I knew a little bit of Spanish.
Is that why
But
she wanted you there, because you were a child and that you could sense and see the things, and she needed your help? Is that what it was?
I believe so in a sensible way. Uh,
Yeah.
but as far as I knew, I was there to pay the debt uh, for her saving my brother's life. So I was there for a very long time with her. I can't remember. I lost a track of time. She would make me corn tortillas with refried beans. You know, that's what I would eat a lot. Was a lot of refried beans with her. Uh, there was one day that
Do you know
I
that
woke up.
in
Yes,
the Jewish belief back in the old day with the rabbis and stuff, there's a saying that ask a child of 7, and in other words, the Jewish people also had that same sort of way that they used children, because they were so innocent they could see or know things or hear things, when they would use little children. So that's why they said, ask a child of 7. I read a lot of rabbinical documents and stuff, and how children were they were like you could see the spirits leaving. That's why they would
yes,
the rabbis would have young children with them to do the same thing. Yeah.
yes. I remember one evening where she's not in the room because she only had 2 rooms. So I hear somebody saying something or arguing, right? So I get up from she had like a little mattress for me. I get up and she's blocking the doorway of the entrance, the main entrance. She's there and she's like arguing with somebody. So as I go beside her to look, she sees me, she tells me to go back to the room. But when I look, I just hear this. What I hear is like, ah, ahí está. Like they say, there he is. So what I witnessed was this. I don't know what. Do y'all know what a lechuza is?
What's the
Lechuza,
English
it's kind
word
of
for
like
that?
a lechuza. I guess some people say it's an owl, but and
Okay.
I guess you could say it's like a harpy, right? So there was 6 lechuzas, which lechuzas are the manifestation that a witch takes. So there was 6 lechuzas, black
Whoa.
lechuzas on a tree, and then underneath there was 6 standing with I guess their robe or whatever. They're all in black, and when they see me, they say, "Oh, there he is," and they're telling.
Could the medicine woman see these things too, or just you?
Yes,
Okay.
she was there. She was
Okay.
there fighting with them spiritually. When they see me, they're like, "Give them this." What they say. What happened was that when she sent the wrongdoing back to the person that caused this, that person passed away, which was the head wish
Oh.
of all of them. So they were coming for vengeance, right? So when
Wow.
they see me, they're like, "Give them up to us." You know, that's what they say. Give them up to us. If you give them up to us, because I could understand Spanish. Uh, they said, we'll, they said, we'll leave you alone. We just want him. And she said, no. Then I looked at the lechuzas and the witches, and the only thing I could say that is not afraid. That's all I remember saying. Not afraid. So I'm standing there by her, holding her from the leg, and she's praying and they're chanting something, so it becomes like a spiritual warfare. So we're fighting all night from like around uh
Wow.
2:30 to like 4 or 5 in the morning till they finally leave. When the sun starts rising, they take off. uh so yeah, I got to see the enemy at a very young age, so you could say my life after being there, I don't know how long, because I didn't know how to read a calendar or nothing like that. All I remember is, you know there was an outdoor restroom. I had barely finished using this outdoor restroom, and I had come out of the restroom, and I heard a woman say my name. I look at the woman. I didn't recognize the woman, and the woman was crying. And then she said, it's me," and it was my mother that she came for me. I don't know how long I stayed there. All I know is that she brought me back to the States. Um,
Wow.
but my life was never the same after that, because what also followed when I came back to the States, like I said, the one of vengeance was this I guess cult, right, of witches that would come every Saturday night from when I made it back to the States all the way till I was like 11 or 12 years old. They would come to our house uh, every Saturday and mess with us. A lot of crazy activity that would happen, but till I make a spiritual stance and tell them I wasn't afraid for them to leave. It's kind of like that's when they finally stopped trying to mess with me. But I guess
Wow.
I guess when they know what you're about, that you're good, you have a good spirit or good heart. That part of the balance, the spiritual battles will always continue. So all my life is been that way. I crossed into some of the weirdest stuff that if I wouldn't have if I could have a camera on me so people could see what I experience, they would understand. But the only
Yeah.
thing I have is to offer is my stories of my experiences.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Hello,
Yeah.
Tommy's
You.
drawings. We
Huh?
got
Tommy, you're
Tommy.
drawing.
I was just right there. I was just saying hi to Woo, happy birthday to Woo.
Oh, woo, happy
Oh.
birthday. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Happy
we are
birthday.
going to get ready to take a break because before we do that, I do want to do this. Because
Fascinating.
North Carolina is really bad right now. So I've got a couple of places for donations. One of them is the Foxhole with Nadine. And then we've got this one here. And what they're doing is when you contribute the money, like the 19, 20, whatever it is, it builds up for them to be able to buy heaters. This is being ran by a friend of Tommy's that lives in North Carolina. So Tommy, do you want to tell them a little bit
He lives.
about what they're doing?
Yeah. It's my friend Scott Rains. He was one of my bandmates in APB. He's a local realtor as well, and they live in Candler, along the creek, and he said they were lucky, but they still got hit pretty hard. But he's been organizing relief efforts since the day of the hurricane, and they're trying to be real specific in asking for the specific things that people need. so they don't get inundated with the things that they don't. And it's turning it. It's getting colder. It's turning into winter. And Asheville up there in the Smoky Mountains gets pretty cold in the winter. I lived there for about a year and a half, and I can say for sure when I moved in, it was a blizzard, and it was quite cold and quite snowy for some time. So, and it like between Scott and another friend of mine who said that everything that you're hearing is true as far as like he said the dead are in the thousands, and people are just they're devastated. Their homes are gone, entire towns are gone, and as it's turning to winter, having a way to stay warm is a huge issue, especially because there's still no power grid in most of the areas, even the folks whose houses were spared. So the heater drive something that they got it broken down just into the pure costs of the thing, and how people can help in that way. That's one of the big focuses they have right now. But my other friend John that confirmed that that the government sees and land, and there's going to be a mine, and everything that we're hearing in that regard is coming to light amongst the locals, and that it was the human spirit neighbors helping neighbors was just it was something that it was America. Something that you think of everybody chipping in and working together and helping neighbor helping neighbor, and that's it's a massive effort, and it's going to take years and years to recover that area, and some areas will never recover.
That's right. So we are definitely pulling for them. They're definitely in our prayers, and we try to post as much as we can to get the donations going to the right places. You can still donate to Nadine. I'm getting ready to have her back on the show here in a couple weeks to do an update, and we're going to try to keep on that as much as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and cut us for a break because I need to step away for a few. And we're going to be right back in 5 minutes.
Wait a second. Have I been calling Abe Ed the whole time? I'm sorry. I thought she said your name was Ed. Sorry, Abe.
You scared the daylights out of me, Susie, when you hollered.
I get a cousin named Ed.
All right, guys. We're going to take us a break, and we'll be back in 5. Y'all know the drill. Hang out. Look, we're back. Uh-oh. I lost Tommy. Ooh, Andy mute.
Tommy's gone. He'll be back.
You would not be impressed with my singing career right now. Can't sing
Wow.
anyways. Who cares?
I'm just amazed with your story, Abe. I mean, it is like I everything you're saying is so real, but you had such an experience from the time you were born. I mean, it's just like most people don't have that kind of stuff happen until they get older, like, and maybe it's one or two things, in their entire life, but seems like from what I'm hearing, you've had this your entire life since you can remember.
Yes. Uh, I was fighting spiritually within the balance. Um, when I was younger, when I was, I think, a couple of weeks born, or not even a month, uh, I hear stories where they couldn't find me. That they will find me in between mattresses, where I guess somebody was trying to suffocate me. So it's kind of like I remember this dreams of this vivid dreams where it was just pitch dark, that I can't breathe. You know, but there were stories where they said that they would look for me. Like my mom would go to the restroom, come back, wouldn't find me. Then they'll be looking and looking. They'll find me like in between the mattresses and stuff like that. Where I guess something was placing me in there, or someone. Just strange things in that nature. So that's the way it's been all my life. You could say. I seen
And
that
so
you
do
have
you
a
still
picture
have
of.
these things happening? Do you like now? I mean, do you have spiritual things going on around you all the time still?
Well, yes, all the time. Uh,
Okay.
Sometimes I cross paths with people that have a negative attachment on them, and to spiritual law, they have to identify themselves. So there's times where I could be at a restaurant and there'll be a person there, and they're looking at me strange, and next thing you know, I guess a thing that has control of that individual, or that got them bonded, that it shows itself to me. So then I have to fight spiritually against it. I'll tell it, oh, they don't like it when you use love. So I love you, or God bless you, or if I have to, I'll say I'll tie bunny reek in Jesus Christ's name, and whatever's there flees, it leaves, because I'm seeing it with a heavenly love foundation. That's one thing that I preach about on spiritual encrypted encounters. Always maintain a heavenly love foundation, because any other thing is a spiritual opening of you. Anger, there's people that might see for example, a Bigfoot or a dog man, and they got weapons and want to shoot at it. If it's a manifestation that is, we know that they can manifest to look like certain things, and if it's something else that has manifested and you're shooting at it and you're getting angry, and the thing that's shooting at has, if it's demonic, then it has ability to attach itself to you or possess you. That's why you really have to be careful when you go and investigate, because you don't want to leave a spiritual opening for you to get attacked. We see it a lot in the paranormal community, where people go and do investigations. They challenge these things spiritually, and they're not ready for it because they didn't prepare themselves for it, and they get spiritually attacked. We see it time and time again happen, and we've lost a lot of people within the paranormal community, cryptid community throughout the years. I mean, I think this year is pretty bad. We've been losing a lot of people, and it has to do, I believe, of the attachments. If they can attach, just like I witnessed when I was small, how they can make a person sick. They have those capabilities. So I would suggest, if you do want to go continue to do like ghost hunting, or go looking for cryptids, at least go spiritually prepared, just in case that
Yep.
what is out there might be something else. So you have to prepare yourself, not just physically, but spiritually. That's what I would say. If there's anybody here that's really from the spiritual community, no, we have to prepare ourselves both ways, because
Oh,
there is
and I
animals
was
out there. that are dangerous. When I was in the army, I would cougars, mountain lions, wildcats, all kinds of running up towards the mountains, like grizzly bears and stuff like that. That you do have to have, some kind of weapon to protect you in that manner. But at the same time, we have to stay spiritually protected also.
Yes. When I was younger, I was dumb and stupid, and I decided to go to a cemetery, and I was playing with things I shouldn't have back then. Thought I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and I was bitten and I was scratched. So I'm a lot wiser now. So,
So what was
yes,
you playing with a Ouija board?
no, I won't touch one of those. No, I
Oh,
was with a group of friends, and they was agitating the spirits that were there.
uh,
And because I stood up first and tried to make them back off, I got attacked. So, oh yeah, I've gotten a lot smarter now. I don't uh I don't ever provoke anything anymore. Yeah.
yeah, it's very very confusing, because a lot of these things that are out there, one of the things that they can do that I've witnessed, uh, they can mimic voices, and believe it or not, some of them are able to, when you hear about shapeshift or capabilities to look like something else, they do have those capabilities. That's why, it's very
Yeah.
confusing, where there's a lot of people that, some people believe that certain creatures are 100% flesh, and then there's certain people that believe that they're in between, that they're more spiritual than anything like that. So the only thing I can say is put it to the test, because I've heard of hunters, right? Or people that go trying to find a Bigfoot or a dog man, and that they're shooting directly at it, that they're professional hunters, that's what they do for a living, and they're shooting directly at it, and all the bullets are missing because it's going right through it. So if it's going right through it, I was in the military. I have my confirmed kills when I was in the military. Our weapon was laser. Was laser guided. It was just laser and blaze. Uh, I did witness some things out there. We have thermal capabilities that we're able to see things that are out there at night. The things that I seen out there moving at nighttime, believe it or not, had no heat signature. So if it doesn't have a heat signature, means that it's something that is not living. Uh, would be There was this range on Fort Hook called Blackwell Multi-Use Range. We would go qualify our tanks. We had to qualify our tank every year as a crew. And at nighttime, I remember we were going to go downrange. I was seeing the TRPs, and I seen something moving out there. Seen six things moving out there, but he had no heat signature. I couldn't laser out it or nothing. All I could see is six big figures. From what I seen, they were pretty big, like 9 to 10 foot tall, moving downrange. So I called range control, and they have thermal capabilities up there in the towers. So they're looking and they're seeing something moving out there that they told us to put the gun tube to the back. We went green to green. We took all the ammo out of our weapon systems, and they went to go downrange to investigate. They went out there, but they couldn't find nothing. So there's definitely something out there that has no heat signature. That if you can't see it through the thermals, night vision, you can't see it. There's something out there. So what is it that has no heat signature? It has to be something that is. And we have different pixels that we can see. We use all our systems to see if it's something that has a cloak or something. And no, it's something definitely out there that has no heat signature, but it's got how we say it in Spanish is punto negro, like a shadow figure, right? A
Yeah.
dark shadow just moving,
Spiritual.
spiritual. So yeah, that's why I always tell people, if you see a dogman or a Bigfoot, put it to the spiritual test. And they're like, well, how's that? Well, said don't shoot at it. Just look at it, because it's going to show itself to you. I believe the reason they show themselves that way is for the fear factor. Because the fear is a spiritual opening. I remember one time I seen a dog been looking at me where I had my experience by the swing sets. It was looking at me. I was looking at it, and I tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name, and in true faith, through belief. And when I said that, it just poof. There was a puff of smoke. It smelled like
Wow.
sulfur. So to me, it was something demonic in nature that has the capabilities. I think they do it for the belief factor, actually. For people to believe in it. So if they believe in them, then that's the opening that it uses to attach or possibly attack individuals within the paranormal and cryptic community.
Wow.
Uh, but I did have an
So,
That if they
experience
believe in it,
with,
that
yeah,
creates fear.
yes, yes. I think that's why they manifest to look beastly, or they hit you with a growl, or they throw a rock or something at you, just to see you're going to get scared. If you get scared, you got to remember they're many. They come in many. They're not just by themselves. In the spirit, they're many. So they come at you all at once. Sometimes you might hear growlings. You might hear disembodied voices. Sometimes you might hear a disembodied language, like another whole different language being spoken to you. Uh, the footsteps running towards you. Has anybody ever been hit by an unseen force here from the panel that you've heard the footsteps and you just feel a thump, you fly 4 or 5 feet, tumble in a row, and you get up and there's nobody there? Has anybody experienced that?
Oh, I haven't.
well, I've had a lot of
Not that
out of
extreme.
body experiences where I've battled demons and stuff like that, and in the astral. I mean, I came out of my body, and I see my body, and I'm fighting demons, and yeah, so they've come after me. I've seen a lot of that. So,
I have a story
Yeah.
about I see you have the Bigfoot there. I do have a story that happened to me when I was a teenager. I was in a long distance runner, so I was training. I was training for my events, which I would do the 2 mile and 1 mile. So our town is not a big town; it's small town, and there's a lot of dirt roads, a lot of agriculture, and I would run around the dirt roads just for training. I was, to concentrate and just to get ready for a running long distance. I had passed this old cemetery where my grandmother and grandfather were buried, and I passed Highway 77, which is the main road that goes towards Harlingen and towards Brownsville. I crossed the highway and went down this dirt road that goes towards the new cemetery. So I'm running. It's like 5 in the afternoon during the summer. I'm running down this dirt road. It's real hot. I'm running full speed because I'm trying to condition my body for when track comes. So I'm running full speed. As I'm running full speed, something hits me. Boom! I feel like a blow to the face and a blow to the chest, and it stops my momentum. And when I slow down, I'm looking like this, and it's manure, like feces on
yeah.
me. And I,
Wow.
I look I look to the sky. There's no airplane. There's no birds. There's nothing in the air. The only thing that's nearby to my right is a field, or should I say, like land, like a lot where there's some trees and a house, but it's abandoned. So I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out how did this happen. I mean, it's all over me on my chest and my face. So it's some kind of manure that I got hit with, right? So I'm looking, there's nobody around me. I run to the cemetery, uh, open up a faucet and clean myself up. I leave my shirt and I just run back home. And, I had the big question mark. What is it that hit me? What hit me that left feces on me when there's nothing there? And it was just a dirt road. I was running. I was looking for a duck or something, but this was too much. It was not, it was just a lot of stuff on me, dealing with like
Wow.
manure or whatever, or no, I guess I don't want to say a bad word, but something in that
Was
form,
it
right?
what was it animal or human?
That's what I don't know. All I know, it was all over me, on my face. It was a lot. So I don't even think
Wow.
a human would be able to produce as much as I got hit with, because it was
Oh,
all
you
over me.
gotta be kidding.
Abe got hit with Bigfoot shit. It had to have been
So
Bigfoot.
I don't know. You
so
could have.
that's what I'm trying to get with y'all.
Oh,
So
good.
I left it alone. I was like, okay, maybe it was just coincidental. Maybe it was nothing. So maybe like a month later, we had this 1965 Ford pickup. The one that's got like a little lightning bolt in the front. 1965, a Ford. It was a blue one, and I was going to the cemetery to visit my mom's grave. It was nighttime. I went down the same road. I would always go down the same road
How
because
old
that's
were
what I
you when
would drink.
your mom passed away?
I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
I'm going down this road, the same road that I ran. I'm going by it, and I get to this ranch, and I turn down the road where I would run to go to the new cemetery. So I could see the ranch behind me, and I'm going 35 miles an hour. I'm going down the dirt road towards the new cemetery. As I'm driving, got the lights on and everything. I noticed one thing, that as I'm going 35, the vehicle is not moving forward anymore. All I'm seeing is two poles, but I'm not passing the poles. So I look at the speedometer, it says 35, and I press the gas, I'm going 40, but I'm still not moving forward. I look to the
What?
rearview mirror. I cannot see the lights of the ranch behind me. I just see this big mass behind the vehicle.
Uh,
And as I'm hitting 40, it the whole rear end just gets dropped. As it gets dropped, I guess, to the ground, I lose control because it was the road is, we call it caliche in Spanish, but nothing but like rocks.
yeah.
So when the rear end gets dropped, I lose control and almost run into one of the poles. But I was able
What?
to take control of the vehicle, and I drove home. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I was freaked out, because especially when I'm going 35, then 40, but it's not moving forward, and then my rear end gets dropped of the truck, and the truck is pretty heavy. I make it home, and I guess I'm pale from the face because of what I experienced, and I'm trying to tell my brother and my cousin what happened, so they go check out the truck, and when they come back, they say, "Hey, we want to show you something." There was, I mean, some kind of stench, like a beastly stench, some kind of stench. But when they went to go show me the back of the truck, um, the tailgate was ripped off. The tailgate was literally hanging.
Oh, jeez.
Um, those trucks back in the day had like chains that would hold the pickups. Well, part of the chain had ripped, and there was only one chain on the right side that had the tailgate hanging. So we took the tailgate off. That night, my cousin said, maybe it was just something coincidental. Just, maybe it's nothing.
I don't think so with
Take
your
me,
life, Abe. Yeah.
he said, take me to the store. So we went to the store, and, my truck was illegal. Everything was illegal on it. It was no insurance, no nothing. I didn't even have a driver license. It was a 3-speed. So I was still using it anyways at nighttime. Uh, I took him to the store, was parked behind the store, and in this block, there's nothing but there was a field, right, at the end of the block. So I'm there waiting for my cousin, and as he's coming, I'm seeing this dark, big silhouette just coming from it came from the field, and it's coming real fast, moving up real fast. And I told my cousin, "Hey, get in, get in." He said, "What's going on?" I says, "Get in, look." So he looked, and he freaked out. He got scared, and he jumped in the vehicle, and I started up the truck, and it's catching up. It's real big, and we're taking off, and it starts following us. It follows us like 3 blocks within the city, and I dodged it, go around it. All I know is I see this big silhouette that's pretty big. I don't know what it is. It's not a person. It's real big. It covered half of the road. That's how wide it was, and it
Yeah,
was very
big.
tall. Like I said, at nighttime you see something like that,
A giant.
you just cannot. All you can do is identify it as a bulto, which would be shadow, because that's what it's looking like, right, from a distance. So it followed us for about 3 blocks. We made it home. Where certain things started happening afterwards around our house, where I think my sister was getting dressed in the room, and she screamed and she said that from on top of the window, she could see some red eyes looking in the window, peeking inside the house. So what was it? All I know it was huge. When the feces were hit me, and it's all in the same area, so it's got to be something that's territorial that lives in that area. The only thing I could think of, what people talk about would be like Sasquatch, but I couldn't
It
give
was
you
bigger
a
than that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I couldn't tell you if it was Sasquatch or not. All I know, I mean, something lifted the truck. I mean,
Ugh,
I wasn't able to make contact with it to tell you, yeah, it was something that was real or something. All I know is whatever it was lifted the truck from the rear end on the move. So imagine that. I'm on the move 35 miles an hour, and he lifts the rear end, me moving 35 miles an hour. So it's got to be something big and strong to be able to do that.
wow.
Uh,
It seems
Fast.
like your whole life is so targeted by these demonic beings and stuff. And I mean, why do you think that you have so many encounters like this?
I believe everybody's got a calling in life, and I believe uh, this has been my calling. I mean, I've been spiritually targeted since I was a kid, so sooner or later you're going to have to defend for yourself. So it becomes a calling, it becomes in my path or walk in life that, it's nothing new to me. People ask me, are you afraid of these things? So I said, no, fear left out of the equation a long time ago. I just deal with it spiritually, and I fight against it spiritually. I had
So
weapons
how
to be
how
able
do you
to,
normally like okay, so do you do a lot of praying and do you do a lot of I
yes,
mean, okay. So
praying as
nor
in,
go
like if
ahead.
I was I'll give you another story. Uh, in Elms Grove, where I used to reside in Killeen, Texas. I know she's from Killeen, so Elms Grove is located by the old airport where there's a domino. You go in there, Elms Grove Estates is there. Um, that's where it's. I've heard. Okay. This already started there. I moved there. My son was going to be born, and I wanted to. I used to live in Acorn Creek, which is in Heather Glen area. I sold that home because there was a lot of things happening there. So I moved to this other area, which is called Elms Grove Estates Mobile Home Park. I bought a mobile home and I moved there. My son was born, and I was working at Walmart Distribution Center. This after the military, and when my son turned, I think it was 4 or 5, he was playing at the park with my friend's daughter. And as he was playing at the park, uh, we're at the creek looking at the water because the creek that runs through Elms Grove. And next thing you know, we don't hear them playing anymore. So you know how they say that saying, if you don't hear the child playing, they must be doing something wrong or something's not right. So we go out of the creek and we're looking for them at the slides, at the swing sets. We can find them. So we go to the other side of the park where there's some more. There's a merry-go-round, another swing set, and some slides. And we go there and we can find them. So then I say to myself, well, maybe they're at the house. So I go home because he had he liked playing Nintendo and Sega. So I went over there to see if they were at the house, and there wasn't there. So we have been searching at that time for around 40 minutes already. So I'll tell my friends or my friend and my sister to call the cops, and I'll start freaking out, because the sun's already setting.
Yeah.
So I'll go back to the park and I'm yelling for them, and I don't hear no response. I'm yelling, it's getting dark, and I'm able to see from behind a bush some hair because my son was a pretty tall boy. So, boom, I took off running. I went there. I went through the brush and I found them. I found my son and my friend's daughter. They're like standing side by side and they're standing in front of this big old oak tree. But when I go and ask them, what are y'all doing here? They're not responding to me. They're like in a hypnotic state or a trance-like state.
Wow.
So I was like,
Scary.
what are y'all doing here? And they're not responding to me at all. They have like their eyes are shut. And next thing you know, after asking them for a while, both of them say this at the same time. They said the man in black called us. That's what they
The
said.
men in black?
The man in black called us. So I yell for my sister and my friend. They come and I tell them to take them to the house. So I go searching for either a man dressed in black or an African American just to see if who lured them into the woods.
Who's the men in
So I'm
black?
searching.
Yeah.
I'm searching everywhere. I go to the creek, to the bridge, to the highway. I search all that area and I can find no men in black. So the following day, I told my friend, bring your camcorder. We're gonna go into that trail and we're gonna record. If we find this man in black, we're gonna capture him on camera, call the cops so they can come and arrest him for luring him in the woods. We go into the trail, just recording, not even 20 feet into the trail, like barely 10 feet. I hear my friend say, "Oh shit, I think I caught something." When I look back, she's running out of out of the trail, like running. So I'm looking to see what's in front of me. There's nothing there. So by the time I get home, she's already gone. I guess whatever she captured on camera spooked her. And she used to live in Nolanville. So I get in the vehicle with my son. I drive all the way to Nolanville, and she's sitting down on her couch, and she's got the camcorder on the sofa, on the other sofa, and she's all scared. And she said, "I think I caught something." So as I review the footage of the camcorder, when she says, "Oh shit, I think I caught something," you could see that there was a dark shadow figure, which seemed to be manifested from Mother Nature itself, because you can see vines and leaves. You can see an amulet around his neck, like a golden amulet, very bright, and it's looking at us. And when she says, "Oh shit, I think I caught something," it goes straight into the ground, into Mother
Oh
Nature
my
itself.
God.
Uh,
How weird.
so that's just some of the things that were happening there.
Yeah.
Uh, y'all got any questions? Like
This is very
I
interesting.
can, I don't want to speak too much, but I can
You're
talk a
doing
lot.
great. You're doing great. I love your stories.
It's here for. Yeah, it's good.
So,
It's
strange
very sounds
things
very
like
active
that would
there.
happen. Yes. Uh, I mean, who's not going to go look for if your children got lured by something in the woods, right? Or especially if they're saying it's a man in black. So what I started doing is, since I was prior military, I still had all my military gear. I went all camo, painting my face, and I will go camp out in the woods at nighttime, just like I used to do in the
Wow.
military, just to see if I could brush or run into this man in black. And I never ran into this man in black. But I did run into one thing one night while I would do this. Um, I had searched the park, you know, and I couldn't find nothing. So I went to this other open field nearby the mobile home park, which it was somebody's land, but the man that used to live there had passed away. So I went through some trees over there, and I was standing there. I heard something making this weird noise, this kind of growl, right? And as I looked to my left, what I seen was this little short figure that was probably like 4 foot high,
Huh.
furry, brown, looking at me, standing on twos. and it's got a when it opened his mouth and it was, I guess, pretending to growl. He had a lot of teeth. I didn't know what it was. I had a machete on me, and I had already pulled out the machete, and I was going to use it on it, but I didn't. Something told me spiritually, don't do it. So I put the machete up and walked out of the wood, out of that area, and started walking towards the highway. Which I started going through the woods to get to the highway. As I was going out of the woods, something came into the woods. It was very big, very wide. I would say a good 13 feet high, very wide, like 10-foot wide. It covered most of that opening space, and he brushed right against me. I thought that when it hit me, that I was going to bounce back because to me it seemed like it was something that was like a creature of some sort, right? But it went right through me. When it went right through me, and I made it to the road, I started feeling strange, like something was trying to control me, like a form of possession. So I start going into prayer, and I'm praying, trying to fight this whatever is making me feel a certain way. So I'm praying and praying, and I don't go home because I'm not feeling good. So I go sit down in the park where that's within the Elms Grove, and I'm there for about 30, 40 minutes praying and praying and praying till I feel better. But it felt like something was
Right.
whatever I brushed against kind of was trying to possess me in a sense of a way.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
what it was, I don't know. I mean, because it went right through me, but it was pretty massive, pretty big. That's why we call it bultos. It was a big bulto, a big shadow. Whatever it was, I don't know. All I know, the side effects that I got from it.
Wow.
But
Wow.
the one that was the scariest, one of the scariest moments that happened to me in Elms Grove was when my sister woke me up. It was like 3 in the morning. She's crying, and I said, "What's happening, sis?" It said, "Hey, there's a woman. She's crying for help. I think somebody's doing something to her. Hurry, hurry, get up, get up." So I get up real fast. I go outside, and I hear a woman saying, "Help me." You could hear her voice sounds like she's in trouble. So I go inside. Uh, I grab my bat. I got a bat, and I said, "Okay, let me go to the park because the sound is coming from the park." So I go towards the park. The park from that area to the woods is a good 150 feet away, right? So as I'm getting closer to the woods, I could hear the cry for help getting louder. So I'm by the swing set, and the cry from help is coming from inside the woods. So I said to myself, I had no flashlight. I said, I'm going to go in there blackout mode, try to sneak up on whoever's doing her harm, So I go in the path, and I'm trying to walk softly so I won't break no branches or anything like that on the path. So I'm getting it goes straight and takes a left, and there's like a canopy of trees like this. So I'm going in between that, and I have no flashlight, and the cry for help is getting closer and closer, and I got the bat, and I'm could hear her like very close, crying for help, and as I'm fixing to swing the bat, the cry for help stops. So I'm there like by that time it's already like 3:05, 3:10 in the middle of the woods. The cry for help stops, and I'm not trying to make no noise. So I'm looking around. The trees, the leaves have fallen from the trees, so I could see the creek. I could see the store in the distance, and I could see the nightclub where there's no cars. It's empty. Uh, so as I'm looking to see if I could see any movement or hear anything no more, I feel something behind me. My hair stand up. So at that time, I feel like something lured me into the woods, right? So when I turn around
Right.
slowly, uh, I seen to my right, maybe like 4 or 5 feet away, there's something very tall, a good, I would say 12 foot tall, 11, 12 foot tall, looking down at
Ye-
me. I look like a midget compared to it. It's looking down at me. I could see the white glowing eyes looking at me. The since I didn't have no flesh, like the dark silhouette, where the eyes were, how it looks, the form of it looks what people call a werewolf or a lycanthrope or dogman, right? It's looking at me. Then to the right of it, like 10-meter intervals, there's two more because I could see the white glowing eyes and they're
Oh
looking at
no.
me. So there's three on the side, and then to the left, there's one that's low to the ground, like if it's like low crawling, but I could see the eyes looking at me. There's one that's like a center would set up for football, like it's ready to charge me, which is like 5 meters behind that one, and there's one standing to the very back, and I'm seeing those eyes looking at me, this white glowing eyes looking at me. Uh, so my first thing is, okay, run into the creek. The creek was behind me, like 15, 20 feet away from me, but the one that's right here is going to catch up to me. So then the other thought was run to the left, 30 feet, you get 30, 40 feet, you have to go through a ditch to go to the highway. And then I said, those are going to get to me. So the only thing, uh, the only other solution for me to do was to go back the same way I walked in, and that's what I had to do. I went into prayer. I had to find my inner peace where I had to ignore what was looking at me and you know not give it fear, like show a sign of fear, even though I was one of those situations that I know what was going to happen. But when I looked at the bat compared to how big they were, the bat would be like a toothpick. That's how big they were.
Yeah.
So I just dropped the bat just in case there were an animal that they wouldn't think that I'm their enemy. So I dropped the bats and I went into prayer. I prayed a very long time before I took the first step. Um, when I finally took the first step, because I could feel the heavenly angels with me, I started walking. I could see the one the close to me turning his head. It's looking down at me because it's very tall. I'm walking in between them, and as I go to the ones in the center, which is the first ones, the ones in the center, as I get to the center and I'm saying the Our Father, I hear them say this, all of them say this. They say the Holy One, the Holy One, and they keep on repeating itself. They're saying the Holy One. So I keep on praying and I walk through them. I ignore it. I make it like a tunnel vision and I ignore them, because they were a very frightening sight to see. So I didn't want to give them power of that. I walked through there. When I turned around to go the way out, it felt like one was breathing in my neck behind me. I just never turned back. Um, and I walked out. I just kept on praying. Didn't turn back to see if I was being followed or anything like that. When I finally made it home, I think like 30 minutes had passed by. My sister was waiting for me on the porch,
Oh
and she was
gosh.
saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And she could see that there was something wrong with me. I mean, I looked like Casper, where it's one of those things that scares the
The
crap out of
blood
you.
out of your
Excuse my
face.
language.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just like you're like in shock. You don't know what to think when you experience something like that, and then you don't want to say nothing to anybody because then some people are gonna think you're crazy. So I went straight to the restroom, took my clothes off, jumped in the shower, prayed for the water for the Heavenly Father to bless the water to get the stench of fear off of me. Once I did that, then I was able to get my holy water I had and prayed for my family members. I placed heavenly spiritual crosses on my doorways and windows to protect the home from whatever was out there, just in case they try to follow. Um, I think I talked about this on the show that I did, Dog Many Encounters, episode 53, and that I was still living at the mobile home park at that time when I did that show. That I told him that I think that what I dealt with or witnessed was not something of the flesh, that I felt it was something demonic because of the time frame. It was between 3 and 4, and then when they were saying the Holy One, how is something that looks beastly gonna be able to speak like that, you know.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Your
it's
life
one of those.
reminds me of the show Supernatural, you know, like you're living your entire life like they did in Supernatural. You're encountering all these demonic and physical, you know,
Yeah,
monsters and things like
I
that.
can take
Yeah.
people to the spot of where I've had all my encounters, you know, here in Central Texas, to the exact locations. You know, it's just I don't want nothing to happen to anybody. You know, I've had people. I had a soldier. There was this soldier guy that I knew his brothers because they would come play with my nephews. They're already like 18 years old, and I would tell them to stay away from that area. So one night, this guy he had come back from the new Iraqi war, and I'm outside sitting on my front porch, and he yells my name, and I say, "Hey, what's up?" And he says, "You're full of shit." That's what he said. And you know, I guess he had been drinking. So he's walking down the hill, and he comes to my house, and he said, "Is your name Abe?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Okay," and I was like, "How can I help you?" And it's like, you scared my brothers, and you don't want them to go play over there at the at that area where the swing set is. You know, you tell them to stay with it because there's something there. And I said, yes, I told him because there is something there because of, you know, what I've experienced. And then
Right?
he's like, I don't believe you. You're full of shit, you know? And he's like, take me now. You know, you have been drinking. And I was like, look, man, I don't want nothing to happen to you because you're drinking. I don't think you'll be able to handle what's there. I would suggest not to go. And then he keeps on insulting me, you know? He's drunk. And I said, okay, let's go. So he's drunk. I go walking to the location. I said, I'm going to stay right here on the swing set. This is as far as I'm going. And he's saying, you're full of crap and all this. And the next thing you know, he hears a woman laughing coming out of the woods. And he's like, who's that? And he looks at me, you trying to set me up? I told him, how am I trying to set you up? You're the one that came to my house. Did you see me talking to anybody or anything like that? You're the one that came to me. So I told you there's something here. And he starts taking off his clothes and he said, I'm not afraid of you, whatever is in there. And then you heard another laugh. I'm not afraid of you. And he's like, I'm going to go in there, you know? So he's drunk. He walks and he's got his hands like this. He goes to the edge of the woods. As he gets to the edge of the woods, he starts screaming. He starts, he's screaming. When he turns around, he's bleeding. He's bleeding from every pressure point, from the jugular, from the wrist, from
Whoa.
every pressure point behind the knees, on the ankles, because he took off his clothes. He was in his boxers. He runs towards me. He's bleeding. He picks up his clothes and he takes off running. As soon as he's running through the park in his boxers, I start praying and I say, "Hey, leave him alone. That's enough." You know, tie boundary rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. Like 2 weeks pass by. He shows up at my house and he said he wanted to apologize to me. And he said that he was leaving out of the park. He told me they had something to tell me. He said, whatever's there is very evil. And I said, why would you say that? He says, because he knew something about me. I said, well, what did it know? I said, well, all the areas that I was bleeding when I was in combat, uh, all these areas where I was bleeding from, I tried to take my life on these areas where I cut myself in all these areas. So whatever's
Oh,
there knew what I did to my body, and he targeted my body that night. Said, but I'm just here to tell you I'm sorry. So he knew
wow.
that he tried to commit suicide in those areas while he was in war. He said he tried to take his life numerous times when he was in combat. So whatever was there knew that he had done that to himself.
Wow.
How long ago did you move from here?
I left Killeen in 2015. I've been residing here in Temple, Texas for 8 years now, but I've lived
Okay.
there for many years, from stationed there in right after Operation Desert Storm in 2001 is when I got there. like around October time frame of 2001 till 99. Then I stayed there to 2015. I lived in Elms Grove from 2000 and believe two or no sooner 2001 all the way to 2015. That's when I
I,
left, when I paid my mobile home off.
I knew somebody that lived out there or lived in Elms Grove, and whenever we went to the house, I never really felt very good going anywhere near that place at all. So we didn't really go very often. But when Lori was alive and lived there, she said that it was kind of a weird place sometimes. So I try
I
to
found
stay
out
away
some
from there.
Yeah, I found out some information because of the
Yeah.
show that I did on This Woods is Harness season 3, episode 2, talking about Elms Grove. There was this man. I guess he was from Vietnam. He had told me that he helped build the old airport. He said that when they were building the old airport, they found a massive gravesite of natives,
Yes,
and he said that where the airport and the golf course is there, where the embark and that land that the mobile home park sits on, that all that was native Indian burial ground. That's what he told me. He said that's probably why there's so much activity there, and
yeah,
that's why they're selling that land real cheap. But he says that that's what he believes that I me might be experiencing what I experienced because it's native Indian burial ground. Another thing, I ran into another man that was a sergeant major that said he had a soldier that lived there, that he was an E7, and that he had to go pick him up from his house and drop him off. That he was always calling him in the middle of the night, saying that there was something there that they were coming from, that he didn't know he was going to make it, and saying that they were trying to break into his home. And he was talking about this werewolf-like creatures. I guess he would say like shapeshifter skinwalkers. When he heard the story, then he remembered that soldier, and he told me that he knows that my story is true because of that soldier that lived there before, that he experienced the same things I was experiencing there in Elms Grove.
I've gone
So yeah,
past
there's
that.
a lot of activity there.
Yeah, and I've gone past the golf course at night a lot of times, and I've actually seen spirits in the golf course
Yes,
just
shadow
walking
figures.
around. So
The
yeah,
shadow figures, they're all around that area. I'm thinking those are the ones. If you noticed on that road by the golf course, the one that comes from Killeen to Harker Heights, there's nothing but
yes,
crosses.
yes,
A lot of people
yes,
have dined out that road. I
yep,
think the most recent was a woman walking with her children that she got run over. They all got run over and they all died.
yeah,
Oh wow.
That happened about, I think, this past year
yes.
or this year.
A lot of bad stuff there,
I think
huh?
so. There was
Yes.
also another kid I know that is actually spending time in jail right now because he was going down that road and he said something spooked him and he turned his car. And when he did, he hit a gentleman that was walking down that road and killed him.
Wow.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a lot of strange things around that area.
Yeah. A
Susie,
lot of
guess that's
Wow.
killings
where I
on the
live.
club. The club that
Yes.
was there.
Oh, yes. I know I
Uh,
work
a
that club.
a lot of killings where people just go up to somebody and shoot them in the
Yep.
face.
Yep.
Um, yeah, a lot of
I was,
in that club, no matter what name he had, there was always somebody getting hurt or killed.
yes. And, and I was recently working there not that long ago. I worked on the weekends, armed security. And we were hired because people were doing that, walking up, stabbing people. And one night we were clearing the parking lot, and this guy, stupid, out of nowhere, walks up with a shotgun. But there are 12 of us standing there armed, going,
Ooh,
really? Are you going to try this? Yeah, it was a bad place, and still to this day, no matter what name it's under, you're correct, or who owns it,
The
something's
creek,
always happening.
the creek that's right beside it. A lot of
Yes,
activity in those woods.
yep.
A lot of activity.
I used to
There
go
was this,
fishing down there.
yeah. I used to go fishing there, a little pond, a little
Yep,
area where you
So
could go fishing. There, in the other side of that, where you fish in the woods, I would
yes,
go there with my son. I was fishing one afternoon, and I remember seeing this big old thing, but it looked weird. It looked like it, you know, those suits, like the camo suits that they have, where things are hanging. You know,
yes,
like
Like
they're
a
like the
ghillie suit.
camo suits that they have stuff that's hanging
Yeah,
underneath.
ghillie suit.
Well, I see something come
Yeah.
out from out of those woods, and it looked like that, but I didn't know it was that or it was just a dark shadow figure, but it was something was hanging from it, and it was looking at me and my son. And I said, "Okay, son, it's time to go." I said, "Dad, I want to still fish." So no, because he was looking right at us. I said, "It's time to get out of here, son." I said, "Okay, Dad." We reeled it and we got out of that area. The sun was already setting, so it was kind of like my cue to get the hell out of there.
yes,
There
yeah.
was this
That's
man,
right.
a homeless man, that was sleeping underneath the bridge. Um, the way I met this guy, I found him sleeping behind the AC units of the Mickeys that was in the corner
yes.
before it blew up.
Yeah, I know. I
Um,
was there the night
and
it blew up.
you remember when he blew up the Mickeys?
Yes, I was getting off of work, and I was coming home, and I had to cut through Elms Grove to go around down the road because it was just fire. I know the guy left from the one parking lot and drove straight across and went right in. He drove right into the fuel truck that was
Yeah.
fueling. Yep.
Sounds like
Well,
a
there was a
lot
homeless
of
guy.
demonic activity going on there, like a
Yeah, the
lot.
homeless guy lived on the behind. He was living in the AC units, and I told him, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Well, I did have a tent set up underneath the bridge." He said, "But I don't sleep there no more." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because there's beast beast there." I said,
Yes.
"What do you mean?" I said that one night
Oh,
he was asleep in the tent in a sleeping bag, and it was real hot, so he wasn't underneath the tent. He was sleeping outside the tent in a sleeping bag. And he said that he heard something, and when he looked to the right, he said they were there standing in the creek. I said, "What was there?" This beast, like werewolves, standing in the creek. There was like
ooh,
six of them just
oh
standing
my
there, and he
gosh,
said he couldn't move, that he was scared, I guess shitless, you know.
paralyzed.
That's the
Yeah.
reason he moved from there to sleep behind the Mickeys, because he's
Oh my
seen this
gosh.
creatures or whatever by the creek. His name was, well, they would call him, his nickname was Cheech, but his real name was it? I can't remember his name. Started with an L. Uh, but he was from California. But he told me of this that incident of this werewolf-like creature standing in the middle of the creek where we would go fishing. Yeah, too much activity. There was a truck driver. Do you
Yeah.
remember if you crossed the bridge, there used to be a parking lot there?
Yes.
Well, there was a truck driver that he heard the story on Vic Cundiff, and he told me, "Man, I know what you're talking about because I drive through there every morning. I had to go park my truck and had to wait for my wife. I would park my truck in that parking lot." He said that one day he was driving through there and he would see this werewolf-like creatures crossing from one side of the road to the other, I guess from woods to woods. And he said one evening as he was waiting for his wife to come pick him up, that something started banging on his
Mhm.
trailer, and then he heard something running on top of his trailer, the his truck, his semi, that something was banging and running on top of it. And he said he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, Name is Angelo. I was trying to get him to do a podcast with me, but he moved away from the Colleen area. He moved
Yeah,
back
that's what I'm
back
trying to
upstate.
do.
Yes,
This place
but
is
she knows
just
what I'm talking about then.
bad.
So when you
Yes.
go when you went fishing in that area, did you feel something? Because
Yeah,
I could always sense something there in that area.
I moved from fishing there and went out to the long bridge that goes out towards Toledo. Started just going fishing there because we would hear people walking on sticks and crushing things, and there's nobody there. Nobody. And it was just the two walking. So I would get the hair standing up in the back of my neck and say, it's time to go. Can't be here.
Oh, you hear it. On the other side, if you follow where I used to live in Elms Grove, if you walk down that path and you stand in the path, you might hear no birds chirping in there. But once you come out of that path back into the park, you can hear birds chirping. But you go into there, there's like no
Yes.
sound. But if you
Well,
stand
that's some
still,
creepy stuff.
yeah, stand still, you could hear somebody running around you. You hear the footsteps, or you can hear somebody running towards you.
Wow.
So that's and your hair, see if they stand up or whatever. Sometimes you might hear a growl. Sometimes you might hear somebody coughing and things in that nature. Just a lot of strange events.
You
There was
know,
a couple that took there from that lived near Belton and by the lake, and I took them there, and they said that they heard something. They got on their knees and they didn't move, and they said they could hear something running around them, like
right,
running on twos around them, and they
Wow.
said they wouldn't go there at nighttime.
right. Well, guys, we are about out of time. So, um, Abe, you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Abe, and you have to come back some more. We have to
Yes.
have
Yes.
you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh
Yes.
yes. Well, I
Hopefully,
really
I'll have my
appreciate it
voice back.
to everybody. I know everybody has their own experiences. I just say them the way I experienced it. Yes. But I really appreciate y'all for having me on the show. My
Oh,
name is
God.
Abe Sias. My group is Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on YouTube and on Facebook. I also got showreel TikToks under Abe Sias 895 of the things that I
Nice.
encountered within the woods. And
Nice,
I
man.
really appreciate it for y'all giving me the time and opportunity to be here.
Well,
I
thank
really
you for
appreciate it.
coming.
Oh,
I really
absolutely
appreciate
love
you
it.
coming
Love it.
on.
Yeah.
Yes. And you will have to come back, and hopefully, I'll have my voice back by then.
You're right.
That's
This
fine.
is
Well, at least you
horrible.
live nearby. I know where you live.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm more sure you know about the areas. But all this is the land of Central Texas. It used to be a certain native that used to live here, but we can tell that another story.
Yes.
Right?
Uh,
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Absolutely.
there's a lot of native, even on Fort Hood. Ooh, I got a lot of stories of Fort Hood also
I'm
when I
telling
was in the
you,
army.
I know forehead. Yes, and I can throw a stone at it right now. I live that close. So,
Wow.
but everybody, please remember the 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 donation sites for the hurricane victims in North Carolina. I thank you, Tommy, Susie, Andy, and Abe for coming on. Yeah, I know my voice, Jason. I'm telling you.
Wow.
But
You'll get it
tomorrow
back.
night, yeah, tomorrow night I've got Joshua Shapiro coming on. He has written books. He's an author. He he goes around the world and he digs up and hunts for the red skulls.
The
So
crystal
Wow.
skulls. The crystal
should be kind
skulls.
of interesting.
Yeah.
The crystal skulls. Yes, should be interesting. So until then, everybody, we are out of time. So we're going to go. And I want everybody to please remember, be kind to one another. And y'all have a good night, and we'll see
God
you
bless you guys. Thank you, Gabe.
Thanks
You're
for
Good
coming,
welcome.
night.
man.
Goodbye for now, from Beyond the Box.
Please join us again for Beyond the Box, Friday and Saturday evenings, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern. Join us for more intel bombs from our extraordinary guests.
Good night, Putin. Good night, Tucker.